Hey, Edgar here, the host of Snug Wrestling. Are you tired of your flimsy sunglasses that look just like everyone else's? Well, check out our friends from Aquila. These are handcrafted, limited run frames made in Los Angeles using recycled materials and built to last and look clean. They got UV protection, blue light options, and even prescription lenses. Plus, Aquila gives back 1% of every sale that goes to environmental causes. And because you listen to Snug Wrestling, you get 10% off with code SNUG at checkout. Just head to aquila.la and upgrade your eyewear responsibly. That's aquila.la, A-K-I-L-A.la. Save 10% off with promo code SNUG.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
And we're going to get into some more topics here tonight because we are doing our weekly one-on-one with myself and Mr. Bludd on TikTok Live. So welcome, everybody. We got some topics planned for tonight. Mr. Bludd has no idea what we're going to get into. We're also going to be reading comments, live comments, as we go on with the show tonight. Please, if you can, possibly keep the comments and questions on topic that we're going over, if that's possible. If you're with us live, welcome. If you're new to the show, if you can't catch the entire live show, you can listen to it later on Apple and Spotify or YouTube. But yeah, keep on double tapping the screen, keep on sharing and commenting and all that good stuff. Welcome, everybody. Mr. Bludd is back. We missed you. And tell us, bro, I want to hear about the convention because I haven't talked to you about that. I saw that you ran into Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, Omos. What was that like? How did that go down? Tell us everything. I want to know.
Well, first off, MegaCon was amazing. I did not get to meet John Cena, but I did get to run into so many people who had. When my wife and I stepped outside to smoke and everything, and there was a woman by the trash can who had just got done meeting him, and she was waiting to meet Orlando Bloom. And she said John Cena was just the coolest, nicest, kindest guy ever. Got her 8x10s and stuff signed by him. I did get to meet Daphne Keene. I did get her autograph. I also met the creator of X23 as soon as I walked onto the show floor. His booth was there. Craig Kyle literally did not know he was going to be there. And so to meet the creator of my favorite comic book character of all time, get him to autograph on the poster of my favorite comic book movie of all time, Logan, and then get to meet the actors who played one of the characters in my favorite movie was great. But then as we're making our way to Daphne Keene's stand, I literally see a bunch of people standing in the center of the hall around two people that I immediately notice that's fucking Montez Ford. And then right next to him, that's Angelo Dawkins. And then I'm like waiting because people are around and he's just chatting with this family. And I turn around and right behind me, looking down at me, kind of like smiling, I'm like, holy shit. I said, you're fucking Omos. And I'm looking up at this giant and full disclosure, and clip this please, because Omos does follow the podcast and he actually just started following my personal Instagram and he does follow me on TikTok and he's such a cool guy. He was the first professional wrestler, the first WWE wrestler to ever comment or like any of my posts a couple years ago. And I have always been like, man, he kind of like made that a great day for me. But in person, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, so cool. And I told them, I was like, dude, I'm a part of a wrestling podcast. This stuff. And Montez seemed to recognize it. And he goes, oh, wait, I do know you. He goes, you talking shit about me on the podcast? I said, no, bro, I'm always glazed and wondering why you ain't getting pushed more. Y'all deserve it. I was like, you guys are future freaking Hall of Famers. You guys deserve the gold. And Angelo's response to that was, oh shit. He goes, I said, they need to put you on TV more. And Angelo goes, he goes, I don't know, but I'm just enjoying my vacation. Takes a sip of his drink. And then I turn around and I look at Om, and I was so polite. I was like, hey, feel free to say no. I know that you guys are enjoying your day. May I, with your permission, please get a picture with you guys? They said, absolutely, bro. Hell yeah, get in here. And so I got a picture. And then I looked at Omos and said, hey, with your respect, same thing with them. Please feel free to say no. Can I get a picture with you? And he goes, absolutely. He goes, then I'm just going to shop around and do my thing. But please, yeah, absolutely. And I was like getting in, trying not to get too close because I didn't want to touch him without his permission. And I was like, my wife was like, get in there. And I was like, well, I don't want to invade his personal space. Omos goes, you ain't going to invade my personal space. Get in here. But Omos, coolest thing about Omos, and please keep all of this in the clip. My boy is an anime fan. If you look at the pictures on the Instagram, Omos has got a bag with a Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen right there through the bag. My boy was buying a Jujutsu Kaisen figurine. Omos is an anime fan. Confirm, bro. But it was great. It felt so fucking awesome. It was awesome. And Omos already knew who we were, already knew who I was. And Angelo and Montez were already aware of us, but they were so down to earth, so fucking cool. I wished, Bianca Belair a speedy recovery for her hand. And Montez was like, yeah, man, I know she's a strong girl. She's working to get it back, bro. It's the knuckle, but she'll be back. She'll be better than ever. And I was like, I know she will. That girl's a future Hall of Famer. But they were just so cool, man. And they were there apparently most of the week. And I always forget, most of these people live in Orlando. Most of these WWE guys live in Orlando because the Performance Center is there. And this whole convention's literally right down is like 20 minutes, 15 minutes away from the Performance Center as it is. But it was really awesome. It was a great experience.
That was going to be my next question is like, were they there? Were they working there or were they there as fans? Because I'm like, what are the chances of, just three famous WWE professional wrestlers walking around at anime? Was it an anime convention? I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with these types of things.
So when it comes down to it, I was reporting and blocking someone from our live stream that was posting continuously the same horrible thing. I'm pretty sure you saw it. But anyway, no, so MegaCon is a multimedia convention that is movies, TV, anime, like massive like superhero stuff, comic book convention. It's a full media, like half the entire cast of Lord of the Rings was there. Then you got John Cena there. Then you got the X-Men there. Then you got all these voice actors from anime there. It's got people who are selling and trading Pokemon cards, PSA and CGC, the biggest card and comic book graders for collectors are there. You have a live eBay freaking entire panel there that's doing live auctions for eBay. You've got, this was the largest the convention has been I've ever seen. This expanded from one end of the hall to the other to hit the full room was a solid 15-minute walk wall to wall in one giant auditorium. It's amazing. There's about 200,000 people there over the weekend, Thursday through Sunday. Mm-hmm. About 300 or 400 vendors. Tons of celebrity guests. It gets covered by our actual, like the news here. Mm-hmm. It's always that big. They have to literally block most of the entire, avenue of International Drive because it's filled with hundreds of people dressed in cosplay, flooding in from all over the country, different parts of the world for this. Yeah. It's one of the largest conventions in the entire country. It's only a few conventions smaller than the biggest ones, which are New York and San Diego Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. But nah, man, I've been going to these every year for 16 years. It's my favorite day of the year. I always go Saturday. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite day, best vendors. And I've been going every year for 16 years. I love MegaCon Saturday more than my fucking birthday. I love it more than Christmas because it's the one place where all of us like-minded people can go and just enjoy it. And it's not just, it's wrestling too. There's tons of wrestling stuff there too. Like you meet wrestlers, bro. Like, they were selling WWE signed autographed, World Heavyweight Championships, Divas Championships. Like,
yeah, because I was surprised. I guess I shouldn't say I was surprised, but the fact that, a lot of people were recognizing Montez and the Street Profits and Omos. I'm like, oh shit. So there was a lot of wrestling fans there too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was, I saw some people, I saw a dude sitting down eating in the food court, cosplayed as Umaga. And he looked great. Man. Big dude, cosplays. There was a dude with his kids at a stand cosplaying as John Cena in his green "You Can't See Me" with a digital, 5 or 8-bit video game graphic of John Cena on the shirt. Full blown WWE Championship, had the build of Cena, the same height. He's there with this kid. It's awesome. You live in Cali. I'm surprised. Have you never been to Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con up there?
No, not to San Diego. They
gotta go.
They have a local one, the Sacramento Comic Con, but I never been.
You gotta go to San Diego once in your life. One day, go this. It'll change the way that you look at like how much it'll give you an appreciation. How much you love the stuff you love will be amplified when you see it is such a communal experience. So many people there, just no one's judging anybody. No one's hating. No one's angry. Everybody's just so happy to be there to nerd out about the thing that they are nerdy about. And it's every median you can think of. Even musicians are there. Like and in San Diego is massive. It's the biggest convention in the world. I think you would absolutely have the best time of your life there. And tons of wrestlers go there too. So, yeah. I mean, I think you would love it.
That sounds like a good idea, actually. I know my boy, he likes that type of stuff. I think he would get a kick out of that. So, yeah, man.
He would be it'd be the best day of his life. I'm telling you, because I know your kid's a nerdy kid, which is awesome. Yeah. I think June or July this year is San Diego. And you don't have to buy all the tickets. You can literally pick whatever day and just go for that day and buy the ticket for that day.
Yeah, that'd be cool. His birthday's in June, so that could
he
probably
would love
work
it.
out.
I think it would be if you just took him as a dad and son thing. I think you guys would have the best father-son bonding experience you've ever had doing something out in public together.
That does sound
telling
cool.
you, he would get addicted to it, and you would see his face light up in ways you've never seen it light up.
Yeah. That does sound pretty cool, man. Well, yeah, dude, I'm glad, man. I'm glad that you had a good time over there at the convention, and we got some pretty cool content for the channel. Oh, shout out to Shadow King. What up, Shadow King? Thanks for being here with us today, and everyone that's been on the comments and sharing and liking. Keep on double tapping the screen.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah, definitely double tap and get this out there. The more of you that double tap, the more hearts this gets, the more the algorithm will share it so we can get more people in on this conversation, just kicking back and having fun, kicking and talking some shit, about pro wrestling.
Yeah, so Shadow King brings up a good question. Shout out to Toxic. Says, what do you think about Oba versus Brock? Now, have you been keeping up with what's been happening lately? I know you weren't with us for Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, I saw it. It was the opener. Yeah.
Yeah, it's official. Brock versus Oba. What were your thoughts on the last segment, Bludd?
It kind of reinforced my thought for this entire Mania, which has been at the mercy of injury after this left turn, that left turn. They've really had to book all the safest decisions, and they've gotten a lot of flack for a lot of the decisions they've made for this WrestleMania being incredibly safe booking decisions. But then you see something like Oba and Brock, and it just brings up that acronym, right? That Bubba Ray likes to use, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Like, it was so effective because it wasn't overbooked, because it wasn't convoluted, because it wasn't like, we've got to write the craziest thing ever. No, it was simple. Brock and Paul go out to ring and cut promo. They undercut Oba. Oba comes out face to face, clotheslines Brock, or power bombs him with the fall from grace, stands there. Brock looks up terrified. All the simplest shit ever, like almost like writing bullet points to a script that you would write out. They only had to go out there, bullet points, keep it simple, stupid, and it works. I am officially so on board for this. I don't give a shit about Brock Lesnar, and I haven't in a long time, but I'll tell you this. I will give him his props because he is making Oba look so good, and Oba already looks amazing and already comes off and performs amazing. Brock is like going to take that to the next fucking level. And if they are smart, if you ask me, putting Oba over at Mania is not going to hurt Brock. I mean, this is apparently his last year anyway. Apparently he's done at SummerSlam in Minnesota this year. So as far as I'm concerned, put Oba over at Mania. You can do the 3-minute squash special that Brock normally has a match with, the Goldberg style, or you can let them wrestle an 8 to 10 minute competitive match and Oba just gets up from everything Brock throws at him. I think that whatever it is, I think this is going to be the year of Oba Femi, and it is off to a fucking great start.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a pretty good way of putting it. KISS. Keep it simple, the WrestleMania card is coming together pretty much how we all expected. You know, we're most likely going to be getting Dom versus Finn. You know, we knew about Randy versus Cody, Rhea versus Jade, Liv versus Stephanie. The only thing that was that's throwing me off a little bit is we don't know what the fuck Gunther's going to do. What is going on with Gunther?
So reports are saying that he might actually be left off the Mania card this year because they had to scrap plans when they weren't sure what to do with Oba. And then originally it was looking like the plans were that he was supposed to be wrestling Rey Mysterio at Mania. Then Rey got injured again right after coming back from injury because he's just been very injury prone the last couple of years. But I mean, he is getting up there in age, so it's to be expected. But now they're thinking they might be keeping Gunther off of Mania entirely. And what are you going to do? I mean, Mania is what? 3 weeks out now, 3.5. You can't just you could just throw something out there, or you could do something cool and just like save somebody we're not expecting from like maybe NXT to do what they did with Randy Orton and Joe Hendry last year. Just have Gunther just pop up at Mania, have a surprise open challenge. Anybody who wants to come out here, yada, yada. And then it could be some, talent that needs to get put over or get a spotlight from NXT or TNA or AAA and just let Gunther beat them and give him some offense, make him look good, give him a spotlight, and dunzo. I mean, it worked for Randy last year. So
yeah, that's true. So the last I heard is that this is, I saw this from a couple of different wrestling sources. For example, NoDQ.com posted, Gunther's expected to have a substantial, in quotes, role at WrestleMania 42 despite absence. So that he might be there. That sounds like kind of what you're saying, just have him just make an appearance, maybe have a squash match and call it a day. I mean,
yeah. I mean, genuinely, I would have loved to have seen him versus Rey. I could have seen them telling the, career story with Rey. Like, hey, you're already in the Hall of Fame. You have been an everything champion there is to be. You've been in the Hall of Fame for 2 years or something now. There's nothing else for you to win. There's nothing else for you to do. Your son doesn't need you anymore. The LWO isn't benefiting anymore from Rey's involvement, and they've pretty much split up anyway. So it's like, I think this is the perfect time to retire Rey, and I would have no problem with them doing it at Mania if he wasn't injured. If he could come back in time, I would say Rey Mysterio, much like AJ Styles, who deserved a retirement at WrestleMania. I definitely think Rey absolutely, like, if you're going to take him out, bro, retire him at the grandest stage of them all. And the thing is, it doesn't really need a massive buildup. It could just be, hey, Rey pops up the week before WrestleMania, not the Monday before, the Monday before that, and goes, this is for what you did to Dragon Lee. This is for all the shit you did to AJ. I'm going to shut you up permanently, Gunther, yada, yada. Oh, if you want to match with me at WrestleMania, little, Rey Mysterio, I respect you. You're a Hall of Famer. But if you want to take me on, you do it at WrestleMania. But with your career on the line,
Yeah, I think that's what's expected. And it sucks that Rey Mysterio, Jay Dillard, I see your question. It's a good question. I'm going to read it here in a bit. It sucks that Rey Mysterio is injured, but I'm glad that this match didn't happen because everyone would expect this match between Gunther and Rey at WrestleMania to be for Rey's career. And I still feel like that honor should go to Dominic Mysterio. As much as it makes sense for Gunther to retire Rey at WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, I'd still rather see Dom be the one to retire his own dad.
But who would get more heat for retiring Rey? Because here's the thing. Dom is beloved as a heel. Gunther is despised. So you don't really want to destroy the cool factor of Dom being a cool, underhanded heel, right? I feel like if he retires Rey, I mean, does that do anything more for Dom or does it hurt Dom?
Yeah,
I know it would do more to add to Gunther's whole thing going into retiring Brock. I think it adds more credence into that story. But Rey and Dom have already also faced off a couple of times and they had a Mania match.
Well,
so it's like,
one of the main reasons Dom got as much heat as he did was because he turned on Ray. If Dom were to retire Ray and did it in the most disrespectful, fucking dirtiest, low life way ever, where he just like beats him, he retires him, he fucking brags to his face, he, just does it in a very, very nasty way, it'll put a lot of heat on Dom.
I got to be honest, though, the way that I picture, and this is just me, this is just what I personally, as a fan, wanted to see happen. If Dom were the one to retire Ray, I'm not saying this is what they need to do. I'm saying this is what my fantasy book was. Mm-hmm. I would love to see if Dom and Ray had a retirement match for Ray. Let's just say it's at Mania, hypothetically. Let's just say it's next year, hypothetically. I would have loved to see that turn Dom face.
That's the other thing, too.
At the end of that match, in the middle of the match, they have the words, the acting, whatever, where, they're screaming at each other, I'm still your dad. And he's like, I know. And, like something like that, where Dom realizes everything he's doing is not because he's retiring Ray because he hates Ray. He's retiring Ray because he's starting to realize he loves him and he's trying to put him out of his career misery and send him off the right way. And maybe by the end of that, it turns Dom face. Dom maybe cries at the end like Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair at WrestleMania in 2008. And he realizes he doesn't want to retire his dad, but he realizes he has to. And at the end, maybe they hug and finally reconcile and Dom raises Ray's hand. What a pop that would be. And it would be the perfect way to turn Dom face if that's how it happened. Let him go into the match heel. Let him come out as a face. I think that would be a feel-good moment. I think people would be crying in the room. I think it would be full circle. And I think it would be incredible.
Another reason why I would much rather see Dom do it. I mean, as much as I love Gunther and the whole career ender thing that they're doing with him, I think the story is just way bigger with Dom. Either way they do it. Either you put more heat on Dom or you turn him babyface. But
by the way, shout out to everybody in the comments who's been gifting or being kind. Zakaria, thank you. Roman Snow 13, always a friend of the channel. You're awesome. Matt Snyder, yes, kind of like Shawn versus Flair. Yes, actually, that's the only WrestleMania I've been live for. I definitely think like, if Ray goes out, I agree. I want the more emotional story told with him and Dom. I think that, yes, it does make more sense. I'm just saying, I still think you can make an argument that if Gunther takes out Ray, it feeds Gunther's crowd hatred of him. And it also feeds the story. Like he's got to keep taking out credible threats, credible legends, and then get to Brock. And then now you buy that he could beat Brock at SummerSlam. But if not Ray, then who is the next person on the way to Brock? You know what I'm saying? Because then like who else is around that needs to be retired? Because I don't want to see him get rid of R-Truth, unless R-Truth is going to go into backstage producing or something. But
I mean, there's a lot of old timers in the WWE right now that are close to retirement. CM Punk is one of them. Randy is also one of them. Like the list goes on. I feel like LA Knight is like in his mid 40s. He's not gonna be wrestling for that many years either. I don't know.
You said Randy?
Yeah.
Randy said recently in a podcast that he could see himself doing another 5-10 years. He said he wasn't sure he'd see how he feels, but he says right now he feels amazing.
10 years?
I know that. Yeah, right. I don't see him doing 10 years. I see Randy retiring within the next 2 to 3, whether he wants to or WWE finally goes, we're going to create the story that does retire you. But I mean, even Cody said his next contract is his last. Like, the entire mid card to upper mid card to main card are all late 30s to mid 40s.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a lot of options for Gunther, for him to retire some more people in the near future. But let's move on. We'll see what happens with Gunther as we get closer to WrestleMania. Thank you guys for the comments. You guys have some good questions. This question here is from Jay Dillard a little bit earlier. He wants to know, what do you think of the Uso and LA Knight story? Not sure if it makes sense. So I noticed something really interesting going back to SmackDown and this past Monday Night Raw. There was a segment where Tama Tonga told Solo Sikoa, "You're starting to sound like Roman." And then 3 days later, LA Knight says the same thing to Jey Uso. "You're starting to sound like Roman." And I'm like, this can't be a coincidence that they did this literally a couple days apart from each other. So what do you think is going on with Jey or Solo or everything that's been going on with LA Knight right now? What's your thoughts on that?
It's not that it's confusing. It's somebody's got to get left out somewhere. And I'm really worried that it's going to be LA Knight, because we already know this upcoming Monday, we've got the tag team championships on the line with the Usos versus the Vision, a la, Austin Theory and Logan Paul. I have a huge feeling that Austin Theory and Logan Paul are walking out of there with those championships, and that the Usos are going to get a rematch at Mania. My thing is, where does that leave LA? Because there's only 2 members of the Vision that are currently active. We apparently know that they expect Braun Breaker to be back in time so he can have a match with Seth. We already know the other member of the Vision, which would be Brock Lesnar, who's a loose member of the Vision, has a thing with Obafemi. And we know that Bronson Reed is out for the next 4 to 6 months. So what does that leave? Where does that leave LA? Because there isn't a third member of the Vision, and there's not a need for him to be involved in the Usos match. And I don't want to see him be a manager unless he gets into some shit with the Usos. Then what are you going to do? Make him a special guest referee at Mania?
Again?
I don't know where you put LA Knight at WrestleMania because of the injuries. Like, if Bronson Reed had not gotten injured, then I could see it being a 3-on-3. Usos in LA versus the Vision with, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory, with Braun Breaker taking on Seth Rollins. And obviously, again, the secondary adjacent Vision member, Brock Lesnar, who's versing Obafemi. Then everybody on all sides of the feud have something to do, because then you also have someone who was also a part of that feud in CM Punk going up against, another, bloodline member in that of Roman Reigns. So everybody has a story. Everybody has a match. But now I feel like the odd man out once again is LA Knight. I just don't know where you fit him in, into the story at Mania. I don't know where that fits. I don't know how you make him work without feeling like he's getting the short end of the stick as always. And I don't know where you feed him in without it feeling forced or not making enough sense. And I don't want to see him in some stupid fucking, this is a showcase match. Come on, bro. You had him involved in this story for almost, 9 months. And then he's just going to, when Mania comes around, he won't even be involved in a match revolving around it. I think that's dumb. So they got to figure something out.
Well, there you go. Who was it? Jay Dillard. Thank you for your question. Toxic, our boy Toxic. He has a pretty good question. I would like to answer this one, Blood, if you don't mind, because
go for it.
He says, who do you think should take the title from Penta? Because I have a feeling that he's losing at Mania. And I only have one answer for that. Kid will sin, baby. No, I'm just
I thought
kidding.
you were having a stroke.
Nah, bro. Penta ain't losing at Mania, bro. Sit down, Toxic. You tripping.
I want to see Penta hold that for a little while.
I gotta give props to Toxic, because he's been calling a lot of shit lately. Like, he called this Fatal 4-Way match that for NXT that they announced yesterday. He called something else that he called that they did recently that I was like, God damn it, he was right again. So maybe he's right. Maybe he's onto something when it comes to Penta. We'll see. I don't know.
You got a clairvoyant here. But I think a lot of people would be pissed off if they complained that Penta went a whole year, and all those people, we did a whole video on this where people thought that his entire first year of booking was lackluster when they, in fact, kept him extremely strong. He never lost a championship contendership match straight up. It was always shenanigans, cheating, some bullshit. They never made him look weak. They booked him strong. They wrote him strong. They did keep him in some stupid bullshit feud with the New Day for a good portion of the summer over a fucking hat. But other than that, he did all that to get to this championship, and he's extremely over with the fans. He's very fucking popular. He's organically over. He might be one of the most organic over talents we've seen in a couple of years. So to have him drop the title immediately within like a month of winning it, I think, or a month and a half at that point of winning it, I think that's just a disservice to all the hard work he's put in. I'd like to see him hold it up until maybe after Mania, maybe Backlash, maybe one of the next European tour, or at least right before SummerSlam.
Triple
because
Mania.
you let Dom hold it for God knows how long. So, and then you let him win it back. So I don't know why you would just, keep it off of Penta. Penta's the better wrestler. He's the better performer.
They got to keep it on him, I think, until Triple Mania at least, which is, I think, in like July this year.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. But then again, at that point, who does he drop it to? Vikingo? Does he drop it back to? I don't need to see Dom be a 3-time Intercontinental Champion inside of a year, especially when he's still got the mega championship. I don't think he needs to be 2-title Dom forever. I think that'll wear thin eventually. I think that novelty will wear off, and I think people will get bored of seeing him hold 2 titles. I do think it remains to be seen whether or not Penta is a better chaser than he is a holder. You know how that works. Some people are just better chasers. Most fans would argue Cody Rhodes much better on the chase than he is a champion. A lot of people would argue that with Roman. A lot of people would argue that with Drew. A lot of people would argue that with a lot of people. But I don't want to see Penta just drop it at Mania. I want to see him have a great defense at Mania. I would have said triple threat with him, Dom, and Finn if he was involved in their story. But I do think Finn and Dom need to have a one-on-one to settle that grudge match. So I don't know who you put him up against. I just know I don't want it to be fucking Rusev. I'd be fine if it was him versus Sheamus. Sheamus answering an open challenge. I would love to see Penta versus Sheamus. That'd be a great fucking match. I'd love to see maybe Rey Fenix answer it. Surprise, surprise at Mania. Brother versus brother. But yeah, I just don't want to see him drop it now, but I want to see him defend it like he has been.
We got a few people in here, you guys. Keep on double tapping the stream. Keep on sharing. Keep on commenting and all that good stuff. I want to talk a little bit more about some of the stuff that we saw recently on Raw, which is building up to WrestleMania. But first, before we get into that, I want to switch gears a little bit and get into some other crazy news that came out just a couple days ago. Did you hear about the crazy teacher from New York who was stealing money to buy WWE tickets, Bludd? Oh my God,
I did
bro.
not. Oh God.
Check this shit out. This headline reads, New York school preschool boss embezzled nearly $3 million to buy WWE tickets and live like a celebrity. Check this out. So, all right. So I'm going to read. I mean, it's not a very long article.
I'm trying to figure out how you embezzle $3 million from a preschool. How expensive is this fucking school?
Yeah, apparently it's pretty expensive, and they have pictures of the actual preschool building in New York, and it's just a regular apartment building with the little colorful sign outside that just says preschool.
Well, it is New York. You got to pay $4,000 a month to live in a 150 square foot shoebox with no bathroom inside your own unit. So God knows what childcare costs.
Yeah,
in Manhattan.
Last name I'm gonna pronounce. I'm gonna botch it. Mizak, a Swiss citizen, is accused of funneling a total of $2.75 million in tuition fees to her own bank account for her own personal use and benefits.
Is this just a preschool?
Yeah.
Tuition?
Yeah.
For preschool?
That's what it says, dog. So between January 2022 and October 2025, and this is a quote from the New York Post. They said she took frequent trips and vacations across the country, often every other weekend, enjoying plush resorts, VIP access to WWE events, and first-class amenities. Much of which she documented on her public Instagram, which we follow, by the way. Also, Jade Cargill follows her, and a bunch of wrestling people started following her now. And other social media accounts, according to the lawsuit. Her wrestling splurges included a VIP package to take her and her 3 kids to popular wrestling show Monday Night Raw and meet the pros, according to law enforcement. She blew over $650,000 on travel and entertainment. I want to see what else they say about WWE here. Yeah, so basically they're saying she was stealing money and getting all these like meet and greets. And then the funniest thing about this article said, it is unclear why the Hulkamaniac is so enthusiastic about professional wrestling. Oh my God, bro, this is crazy, dog. I mean, I'm the next biggest WWE fan ever, bro, but goddamn, this is crazy, dog. I think you're muted.
Here's the funny part. All that money spent on WWE. If I'm WWE and like the FBI comes knocking, I'd be like, you are never getting your fucking money back. I didn't tell her to embezzle it, but I ain't returning shit. But what do you call it? A shout out to What Am I Watching 666 in the comments says she spent over $350,000 for one show. First off, that just tells you how egregiously WWE is overcharging, or TKO is overcharging for WWE shows. But second, dude, I love WWE in my blood. I've been a fan since 2002. I'm a former professional wrestler myself. We do wrestling podcasts as a part of our job. You're insane if you think I would go that far. First off, I don't know what fucking school this is, because you said preschool, but then you said tuition. So now I'm thinking it's got to be a K through 12. And because tuition, $3 million to embezzle. How did you get up to $3 million before you got caught? How did you go on all these lavish trips, do all this stuff, post publicly for a fucking paper trail, you dumbass, and still not get caught until you had already done all this stuff? Like that, like legitimately, like whoever's on the board of that school or in the finance department was doing this the entire time she was cashing checks.
No, so check this out. So the name of the place is called German Immersion Preschool in Brownstone, Brooklyn is the name of this place.
So it's a preschool.
Yes.
First, okay, I have never heard of a preschool having tuition. That's nuts. I went to a Christian private school that was like $8,000 or $9,000 a fucking semester or a year. How the hell does a preschool? I don't care if it's a brownstone. I don't care if it's in New York. I don't care if it's in Manhattan. I don't care if it's inside of someone's sister's ass. How the hell can you embezzle $3 million out of a preschool? I don't know how a preschool makes that much money.
Yeah, I mean, preschool can be considered a daycare because at least here in California, I don't think preschool is required anymore. So most public schools don't even have it. So if you want your kid to go to school, which a lot of parents argue like, oh, that's the best thing to do, your kid should be in preschool. If they want their kid to go to school before kindergarten to get a jump start on their education, a lot of parents are dishing out a lot of money for that. So I can believe that, especially in New York, shit is expensive over there. But yeah, pretty much, dude, like she was traveling, doing all these things, buying all these like fancy trips and resorts and stuff like that. And the school was sitting there looking like, hold up, bro, how are you affording all this? You make $40,000 a year. We don't pay you that much money. How are you affording all this shit?
How did it take him so long to figure that out when I'm like, she's putting in time off requests for this shit?
So
that's the thing. She's putting in requests to take time off, to go on trips, to fly across the fucking country to a $350,000 expenditure on Monday Night Raw for a WWE show, for one show. Like, this has to take place over the course of a while, because it's not like you're like, hey, I'm taking 2 months off to knock out all of this shit at one time. No, like this has to be throughout a period of fucking time.
So it was a period of 3 years from 2022 to 2025. She was doing this, and it added up
3 years.
Yes. And according to this article from the New York Post, they were like investigating her, and she kept telling lies, basically saying that she was like some beneficiary from one of her grandparents who passed away, and how she had all this money saved up and shit like that, which is not true. She was just stealing money from the school.
You'd think with all that money, when someone started asking questions, she would have had the foresight to take some of that money and skip countries with no extradition. Like, if you're going to embezzle that much money, which is a federal fucking crime, you're going to do all that, and then people start asking questions. I automatically think, oh, I'm under investigation. I'm taking a bunch of this money while I have the chance before they can freeze my passport or they can do anything to block my expenses or freeze my accounts. My ass is on the first boat or airplane into another country. Or I'm going to say, oh, I'm just taking a cruise, and I'm going to take a cruise to the Bahamas or somewhere, never get back on the boat, and then go from the Bahamas to a country like China or something with no extradition, and then that's where I live now. Good luck. Bye-bye. You missed your chance. You'll never get me. I'm now a citizen of this country. And I would take all that money and transfer all the currency.
It sounds like she has a family, though. It's kind of hard to do that when you have kids and shit, no?
Well, considering she embezzled $3 million, she's probably not going to see those kids or family regularly, probably for the next 15 to 20 years for the amount of money she embezzled. That's federal crime. And she did it knowingly for 3 years. So you got to think of every count. Every time she embezzled an amount is a count. So, yeah.
So she pleaded not guilty, was released on a $200,000 bond secured by a $50,000 wire transfer from her mother. So, yeah, dude. I mean, I think the lesson in all this is like, hey, the only way you can afford to go to WWE is by embezzling $3 million.
And that's for the nosebleeds.
Fuck me, dog. But yeah. That was fucking crazy, man. Jesus Christ.
I would be, when you hear this shit people get caught with, all it does is just make you sit there and think, I'd be so much smarter if that was me. If I'm going to embezzle $3 million, there will be a nest egg with a passport for me the moment it seems like someone is coming to ask questions. All of a sudden, I'm calling in sick. I'm taking a day cruise to a different fucking place like the Florida or the islands, hopping on another day cruise in West Palm Beach, going to the Bahamas, never getting back on the boat when the boat leaves, flying from the Bahamas to China, no extradition. Now I live in China, switching nationalities where I'm going to live there forever with my passport and just update it every few years. That's what I'm doing. I would be so much smarter. The moment someone tells me that they're investigating, I'm fucking gone, and I'm making it look as casual as possible.
All right. Snug Wrestling does not condone Bludd's ideas for running away from the law, all right? I don't know nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
We don't condone it, but at the same time, Uncle Sam don't owe you. You don't owe Uncle Sam shit.
Yeah, that's right. As soon as I saw in this article that, she was posting stuff on her personal Instagram account, I looked up the account, and it was on private. And I was like, God damn it. But I noticed that, like, Alan Owens follows her. Shout out to Alan Owens. Jade Cargill, and, like, some other people that we know from other podcasts started following her. So she's getting some attention from the wrestling world, which is...
It's funny, too, because all those wrestlers probably followed her because they did meet and greets with her. And then found out, oh, she's such a big fan. She spent all this money. I'll follow her to keep good rapport with her. And then they're going to hear this story and go, oh.
Yeah. Or Jade Cargill, knowing her, she probably just did it just to be funny.
It's like Dave Chappelle. What did he say? He goes, they were asking me for a refund on my last show. And I looked at that audience and said, you will never get your fucking money back. Mm-hmm. I didn't promise this shit would be good. I'm like Evel Knievel, bitch. I get paid for the attempt.
Yeah.
Hey, I met you that meet and greet. You ain't getting that money back. I don't care who you stole it from. It's mine.
Yeah, bro. But I thought that was crazy. All right. Let's go back to what's happening on the real world of WWE TV, what's actually going on the show, the real stuff. The other thing that the major headline that came out this week from WWE Bludd that I want to get your thoughts on, I guess we kind of talked about it already, or you did at least, but Seth Rollins getting arrested. This raised a lot of questions on Monday Night Raw because if he gets arrested, that means he's going to be off TV for a while. So now it's like, what is going to happen with Seth Rollins? He punched Paul Heyman again for like the second time. The first time he stomped him out. This time he punched him, but Seth Rollins got arrested. I mean, where does this go to next? Did you see this? What'd you think?
Yeah, I did. I mean, the stupid thing about this is if you've ever had a restraining order, you can't just go, oh, I've got a restraining order, because the way that Paul pulled it out, he pulled it out like it was a surprise. Seth would know he had a restraining order against him. And we know this is all in story and kayfabe, guys. We're speaking in story. But when it comes down to it, like I've had a restraining order against somebody before where I filed one against them. In order to do that, they had to show up in court with me. I got a temp against them. It was then delivered to them by an officer who let them know. They then showed up in court when the temp was expiring, and then a full one was put into effect for a year. You can't just do what Paul Heyman did and go, I got a restraining order like it's a surprise and Seth had no idea. Now he's getting arrested because he violated a fucking order that he had no idea existed. That's not how that fucking works. So what I think is where you go from here is Braun Breaker returns out of nowhere because Seth shows up and then he tells Paul, no, Paul, lift the restraining order. I don't want the restraining order because I want him at Mania or something like that. Or Seth causes so much trouble that Paul says, you know what, forget the restraining order. You know what, you're going to need a body bag when after this. And then he points at the ramp and then Braun shows up. And that sets up Braun versus Seth. Like he drops it because he thinks Braun will be a bigger punishment than a restraining order. I think that's where you can go from here. But I don't think it makes sense to keep them separated for the next 3.5 weeks because we got to keep building the story.
Yeah, that was my thought. I'm like, there's got to be a loophole or something here that is like, oh shit, Seth Rollins is out now. But it's like, man, what are they going to do? Are they going to have a match? Seth Rollins versus Paul Heyman or what the fuck?
I mean, I thought it was dumb. A lot of this stuff with Seth since he's been back has been very, not cringe.
You're not
mediocre.
A fan of the Masked Man.
The Masked Man shit is so dopey and it was so lame. Let's just switch spots like it's what's in the cup. And let's do it 2 weeks in a row. And then laws of diminishing returns. Seth keeps showing up in the mask and the pop gets lower and smaller until this Monday when he pulled the fucking mask off and he got no reaction because it's like, we already know it's Seth. Why are we still doing this stupid fucking mask reveal? And then it's like, hey, here's a surprise fucking a restraining order, and now we're gonna get these fucking definitely not fucking local talents dressed up as the fakest cops I've ever seen on Halloween.
Hold on, though.
And they're gonna arrest you.
Wait,
in
hold
the middle
on,
of
though.
The show.
Those guns looked real, bro. Those guns looked real.
So they always look real when you take the orange caps off of them.
Right, but hey, I got to give them credit.
Just ask any black person in your local neighborhood. They've
been the best looking cops in WWE in years. I got to give them props for that. I mean, you can tell they're not real, but they're the best looking cops they've had.
What cops are still wearing full uniform with the jacket, with the belt, with the freaking stupid hat that they wear up north? Like what cops are still on duty, like in full, like mafia movie cop 1980s garb? Like
in Boston,
are those even like current up to date fucking police uniforms for that state? Like
they were in Boston, bro. It's cold over there, dog. Of course they're wearing the jackets.
Oh God, they're in an indoor enclosed stadium. Like, I mean, it's too corny. The best thing about this whole feud was Paul's performance last week when he showed up disheveled, bloodshot eyes, the crying, the 5 o'clock shadow. That was the best performance I've ever seen from Paul Heyman live on TV. And then he ate a full stomp, actually did split the top of his nose because he took it like a champ. And I thought, dude, this is amazing. And then they keep coming back to the stupid Seth pulls off the mask bullshit. Seth isn't medically cleared, so he can't get physical. Then why does he keep attacking people? Like, it's just, let's get Braun back. Let's build it up. Let's get to the Mania match because they're telling the story decently enough. It's just a little lame all over the place.
I'm trying to see if I can call Ryan because he was there at the show, Ryan Gray from the No-So, and he's from Boston. So I want to ask him about the cops, but I don't know if he'll pick up right now.
I mean, you could probably just Google current current like Boston PD, uniforms. I'm sure it'd pop up on Google.
It'd be more fun if I can call Ryan. But yeah, you're right.
Well, shout out to Zach22. No AEW talk. No, we don't talk AEW on Thursdays. We really don't talk about it at all. I'm not an AEW fan. Haven't been since 2022-ish. 2022, I think. And I think Snug still watches it, but ain't my bag anymore.
Dude, honestly, because we cover WWE so much that pretty much takes up all my time now. That I haven't even been watching AEW for like the past month. I haven't had the time to, unfortunately. But I did go to their show when they were here about a little bit over a month ago. That was cool. I still watch it every now and then, but if we don't cover it, there's no point in me watching it, so.
Yeah, and I'm not going out of my way to watch it. I got enough wrestling to watch weekly. We do cover AAA as well. We cover NXT. Because of a lot of NXT stuff, we wind up covering parts of TNA. Then it's all the WWE stuff. Then we have the PLEs every month. Then we have the prediction videos every month. Then we also do a review completely in Spanish for our Spanish speakers because we have a lot of fans in Mexico and in South America. We've got fans in a lot of Spanish-speaking countries, so we're too full up on everything we do to then also throw in a whole other wrestling program on top of it that has like one or two shows a week of its own. I just don't have time. I'm not watching Dynamite, Dark, and Elevation or whatever the fuck they call
it. That's how long it's been since Bludd's watched AEW, bro.
Is there only Dynamite left?
Dynamite and Collision now.
Oh, Collision? Yeah. Fuck, I didn't even say Collision.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, that's what's happening so far, bro, in the WWE.
Well, Steve asks, by the way, do you guys think Braun will come back from injury or they will have to substitute him for the WrestleMania match? He's definitely coming back because they projected him. The moment that they swerved us with Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins last week, where it looked like, we are getting Brock versus Seth, and then Oba came out, the moment they put Oba with Brock and then they put the Usos up against Theory and Logan, and then Roman's obviously preoccupied with, Punk, and Punk was a part of all that feud too. The moment they did all of that, I was like, Braun's coming back in time. It's going to be Braun versus Seth. They wouldn't have taken every other person Seth could have faced at Mania away unless they knew he was returning on time.
Yeah, I think so too. There's also been some reports going around that he's most likely going to be ready. They didn't say he's coming back at Mania, but he's most likely going to be ready by WrestleMania is what some of the reports have been saying.
Yeah, it'll just be it'll probably be a bit of a safer match, which doesn't really make too much sense for a blood feud, but they're both coming off an injury, Seth with his shoulder and Braun with a brand new repaired, entire midsection, the hernia surgery he had to have. So it's probably going to be a good match, but it's going to be a match where they're a bit more careful in areas. I don't see, Braun maybe risking a Steiner, Hurricane Rana or whatever the fuck he calls it off the top rope where he's got to flip backwards and, rotate and crunch his abs so hard and land on his knees, compress his midsection. Like, it'll be a bit more carefully wrestled match because my brother had 3 hernias done at the exact same time several years ago where they did the mesh on all 3 at once. He couldn't even hold his, at that time, his newly born son. He couldn't hold him for like literally 2 months. He wasn't allowed to lift like over 10 to 15 pounds for 2 fucking months.
Yeah. And speaking of careful matches, you just reminded me the other thing that Toxic called. So when we did the SmackDown review, Toxic was like, I need to see Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. And guess what? The fucking reports that started coming out today, Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre are set to have a Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. I was like,
good Lord.
That's crazy.
Toxic is our resident clairvoyant.
Yeah. I mean, I would be down to see that. I'd be down to see that.
I mean, Drew does have some pretty damn good performances in Hell in a Cell. I think, in my opinion now, the 2 greatest Hell in a Cells I've ever seen in my life is Taker versus Triple H with Shawn as a guest referee, end of an era, and CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre are the 2 best Hell in a Cell matches I have ever seen. Third place would be New Day versus Usos. But like, I would be down to see it. I would love to see them get out of the actual cage. I feel like with those 2 as aggressive as they are, we could finally see a Hell in a Cell match where they break out of the cage and maybe fight on top. That would be awesome.
But shout out to my best friend, DJ216. Thank you for the gift. He says, May I join?
Well, we're about to head out of here.
Yeah, I'll let you answer that one, Bludd.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We normally do this for an hour, 9 to 10. It's now 10:01 on the East Coast. And shout out to Richard Moorhead. No, I am not going to Backlash in Tampa because I don't feel like spending $4,000 for my wife and I to go, plus a 3-hour drive because I live on A1A in the Space Coast. So I'm literally like that's the ocean and over there is Europe. So I'm not driving to the other coast to pay $4,000 and then drive 3 hours home.
Yeah, you mentioned TNA. They're going to be in my hometown in May. I'll be going to that, so that should be pretty cool, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, man, any more comments or anything else before we get up out of here? Going once, going twice. All right, let's get the fuck up out of here, Bludd.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this Thursday night's one-on-one with Snug Wrestling. As always, if you love kicking it with us, you can do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night after SmackDown, NXT, and Raw all go off the air respectively for live post-show reviews. And there is also segment-to-segment reaction content for all of those shows while those shows are going on all of our social media here, Instagram, and on Facebook. Of course, YouTube. We post everything after there as well. You can follow us on Apple and Spotify if you miss our live actual streams. And then also, of course, every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, and 8 o'clock Central here on TikTok Live for one-on-one wrestling hours with Snug Wrestling, random and relevant wrestling topics. We'll also answer your fan questions live. Of course, we got Mania coming up soon, so we will be announcing the prediction episodes here in the next couple of weeks, what days and times those will be live for streaming. But guys, until next time, thank you so much. Stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug.